How's it going, everybody? So, another touchy subject today. Last time I addressed one of these, I had a few complaints. Arrogant, looking down on others, you name it. So let me just say this. The purpose of this very channel has always been to educate people. I've made tutorials, guides and many other things for multiple games. I take this seriously, do my research and try to present it as best as I can. But the presentation is what gets me the most complaints. It's something I don't quite understand. You get spoon-fed information by me, but you dislike the spoon I use. I'm not sure people realize how rude that actually is. With that said, and knowing full well what this might do to my comment section, let's try a less ranty version of what I'd usually do here. So today's topic is viable offense and why a large part of the community seems to be allergic to it. I'm not going to point to characters or mix-ups and tell you that this is viable and this is not. I just want to talk about it in general and why we need more of it. Usually these types of mix-ups or attacks are immediately labeled as spam or as a crutch by the community. We make memes like heavy on red, or some people go to For Honor rants and grace us with some entertaining posts even if they don't mean to. The whole thing usually boils down to I can't deal with this, meaning I can't react to it. This whole mindset might be partially because of how For Honor was when it first released. Everything was significantly slower and pretty much everything was reactable. There were only a few exceptions that could be considered true offense, like Shugoki's Oni charge. Things like the zone flicker that made reactions harder were already demonized back then. The whole premise of the game, even if not intended by the developers, was fully reactable offense, unlike all the other fighting games out there. And for whatever reason people still cling to this philosophy, and I frankly do not understand why. It has been proven multiple times that this game needs unreactable and thus viable offense to not have staring matches. A small history lesson here. Let's look at the 1v1 tournament sponsored by Ubisoft at the beginning of Season 3. You know, the one where that unlocking pole stole $1 million. If you watched VODs of that tournament now, you will notice that unlike the complaints of top level players that duels are a staring fest, we didn't actually have that much staring. A couple of reasons for that. There was a shit ton of Raider played. Simply because his Stampede charge had a, I think, 200 millisecond starter at that time. The character was actually banned for 2 of the 4 qualifiers for that very tournament, for that very reason. But you could pick him in the main turn. And before people complain about Ubisoft's rules, go and yell at ESL, they were the ones running it without having the slightest clue what they were doing. In my opinion, it was smart of Ubisoft to hire a company that has decades of esports tournament experience. No one expected them to shit the bed that hard. But I digress. Second reason was the aforementioned unlocks. Unlocked attacks were unparryable, which ultimately made attacking safer, as the fully reactable attacks couldn't be punished as hard. So, with a few exceptions of specific people that tried to disqualify others for not attacking, the tournament didn't really have that many starefests. So, what actually should have been the point the viewers were supposed to complain about to push the game in a healthier direction, the tournament did nothing for that, and in the end hurt the comp scene with articles about cheating and whatnot. So for months on end we had the top level players complain about staring contests, and at the other end of the spectrum we have people complain about spam. And I don't know if these two groups will ever see eye to eye. To this day I get weekly comments on videos where people say that things need to be more reactable, and I honestly don't think a single one of these posters has thought it through. What would happen if you could react to every move that was thrown at you? You could perfectly counter attacks, bashes, guard breaks and so on. Why would anyone ever throw something at you then? You get better the more you play. Back in beta you could throw out neutral dodge attacks and they'd have like a 90% hit rate. Now even console players will laugh at you for doing that. People evolve, and the same goes for the game. If you demand things to be reactable again, you're demanding regression. And we need the exact opposite. We need more viable mix-ups, we need more incentives to throw out attacks, more possibilities to outplay the opponent. And no, using the viable parts of a character's kit is not spamming it. Throwing out 2 top lights as a lawbringer doesn't make the guy a light spammer. Stop trying to find excuses and start to come up with solutions. I'm obviously not claiming that everything is fine and every currently viable move is healthy for the game. You see me complaining plenty on this channel, and you also know that I try and help by presenting ways on how to deal with mix-ups and whatnot. What I'm saying is that there is a time and place to complain, and there is also a time and place to shut up and learn how to deal with it. We all want the game to be the best it can be, and we obviously disagree with each other when it comes to what that version looks like and how we can get to that point. But what everyone should have realized by now is that we do need viable offense, and that we need to continue to progress, both as players as well as the game itself. And that won't happen if you just think about yourself. Look at the big picture when you make suggestions. And just to make it perfectly clear, I'm not claiming to have all the answers. Far from it. I say plenty of dumb shit in my videos that I wish I'd never have said. But I try to learn from it. And I hope so are you. If I have offended you with the choice of spoon that I used in this video, feel free to leave your need for validation down in the comments. Until then, I hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.
You captured Zone C.